Hello and welcome to another video from me, this tutor. And this time I'm talking you through the causes of the First World War for the AQA topic 1894 to 1918 conflict and tension. And in this video we're going to talk through the major causes of Kaiser's foreign policy, the Moroccan crisis, the Balkan crisis, and of course then finally how an assassination leads to war. So firstly, let's start with Kaiser Wilhelm II and how his foreign policy started to lead to war. So Kaiser Wilhelm was the Kaiser of Germany from 1888. He was very militaristic, having been an important Prussian military leader and from that Prussian history of military success. He thought Germany was a great power due to its military strength and huge industrial wealth. However, Wilhelm was unhappy. Germany did not have a large empire. It missed all the empire building of carving up Africa and other places. So the Kaiser felt like an emperor without an empire. So the Kaiser Wilhelm began a world policy called Weltpolitik to gain a large empire for Germany. He also wanted a large navy to patrol this empire. So this led to a naval race and rivalry and increased tension with Britain, as Britain saw themselves as the big world's imperial and naval power. So how did the naval race begin? Well, Britain had the largest navy in the world, and she followed the belief in what's called the two-power standard. So this meant Britain's navy had to be twice the size of the next largest navy, so that she could patrol at home and her empire safely. By 1906, Britain had developed a new, powerful battleship, larger, bigger guns, faster, more powerful than any other battleship before, called the Dreadnought. Germany also started building these Dreadnought-class battleships. And then by 1908, Britain realised that Germany had more Dreadnought ships than Britain. She was now under threat. She did not have twice the size navy in terms of power of Dreadnoughts that Germany had. So a crisis took place in Britain and they had to start building battleships. This led to a naval race. It led to huge amounts of nationalism in Britain against Germany and tension between Britain and Germany over their navy. So Britain, maybe, is happier to have an alliance with France and Russia, maybe even consider war because of the threat Germany poses. So the second way the Kaiser started to increase tension was through the Moroccan crisis. So the first part of this is the Algeciras Conference in 1906. So the Entente Cordiale had just been signed, and Germany thought it'd be a useful time to test this agreement. So part of the agreement was that Britain would have control of Egypt and France would have dominance over Morocco. And the Kaiser thought, well, why should France have control of Morocco? Firstly, and secondly, this was a chance to test whether Britain and France could get on with each other in their new Entente. So the Kaiser objected to the French attempts to colonise Morocco, and he arrived in Morocco to support the Sultan against French colonisation. So the impact of this, tension was increased and nations started to fear war. And so to solve this, they set up a conference called the Algeciras Conference, which was in 1906. At the meeting, Germany was isolated and only really had Austria-Hungary to support them. And obviously this was a bit of an embarrassment for Germany. Further to this, another impact was that the French and British had seen the aggression of Germany, and their friendship was strengthened even more. And they started to look for more people to join their friendship. So Britain was more tempted to sign an agreement with Russia. So later on in time, we have part two of the Moroccan crisis, the Agadir crisis of 1911. So then in 1911, there was an uprising against the Sultan, and it was crushed by 20,000 French soldiers to secure control of Morocco. Kaiser Wilhelm claimed that this was an attempt to create a colony for the French, and he sent a battleship to Morocco to support the Sultan and to try and stop the French colonising Morocco. The British, in response, mobilised their navy at Gibraltar. Again, there was a fear that war may take place. So to solve this crisis, again, there was going to be another meeting. Germany, though, backed down again to the Allies, only having support of Austria-Hungary again, but they were compensated with colonies in Africa. So what was the impact of this? So again, the Germans have been humiliated, and the Kaiser and the German people were unlikely to back down again if there was another international crisis. So we might have increased brinkmanship here, that maybe another crisis will actually mean war next time. Britain, though, started to further increase its shipbuilding and started to make military plans with the French now. So what was a friendship is becoming much more like an alliance. And Italy, interestingly, refused to support Germany and the Austrians at the meeting. So the Triple R alliance is looking a bit weaker. So away from the foreign policy of the Kaiser, we have problems in the Ottoman Empire, what's known as the Turkish Empire. So in the early 1900s, the Turkish Empire was in decline. They were a weak empire, threatened by lots of nationalism in their empire as well. They were known as the sick man of Europe also. So this led to countries in the Balkans, countries like Greece or Serbia or Albania, Bosnia, starting to think they could rise up against the Turks and have their own independence away from the Turkish Empire. So this leads to the Balkan crisis in 1908-1909. A rebellion in Turkey led to Austro-Hungary seizing control of Bosnia. Serbia was upset by this, as they'd seen Bosnia as Serbian land to take, full of Serbian people, and also they were Slavic people, not Austrian or Hungarian people. Russia supported the Serbs in their complaints, but Germany forced the Russians to back down, and Austro-Hungary kept control of Bosnia. So what was the impact of all this? Well, Russia increased its remilitarization and thought in the future it was not going to back down on Slavic issues. It was the father of the Slavs, and it was not going to be humiliated by Germany again. Serbia was upset as well, and radical nationalist groups like the Black Hand emerged. In future, they'd be attacking the Austrians and Hungarians looking for independence for the Serbs. Austria-Hungary became more confident as well. They realised they had the full support of Germany, and also they just claimed a huge chunk of land. They were feeling more confident and powerful as a nation. But Italy became disillusioned with the Triple Alliance. Austria-Hungary had expanded in the Balkans again, and there were lands there with Italian people in that they thought they should have, and being in an alliance with Austria was not benefiting them. And finally, encouraged by Russia, the Balkan League was set up, involving Serbia, Greece, Montenegro and Bulgaria, and the aim was to try and get independence from the Turks. So this led to the Balkan Wars. The first Balkan War was October 1912 to May 1913. The Turks attacked the Balkan League but were defeated, and Turkey was pushed almost totally out of Europe. Albania became an independent nation, the rest of the land was taken by the League, and Turkey was just left with a tiny little bit of Europe left. Most of it was now pushed back into sort of near Asia, as it were. So then there was a second Balkan War from June to August 1913. Bulgaria, unhappy at the deal with the Balkan League, they only had a small piece of land and they went to war with the rest of the League, but Bulgaria was defeated and Serbia took huge chunks of land and became known as Greater Serbia. So what were some of the impacts of the Balkan War? Well, Serbian nationalism grew. They're much more powerful now and they feel they can take on Austria in the future. People in Serbia now wanted to free the Serbians in Bosnia and the rest of the Austrian Empire and create an even larger Greater Serbia. So after 1908, groups like Young Serbia and the Black Hand developed even more powerfully as nationalist groups demanding Bosnia to be part of Serbia and also the freedom of all Serbs. Therefore, Austria-Hungary was worried about Serbia and wished to crush their nationalism, and they'd be strong against Serbia. So how did this increasing tension lead to murder and war? Well, in 1911, the Black Hand tried to assassinate Emperor Franz Joseph of Austria-Hungary, but they failed. This led to an angry reaction by the Austrians. They started to develop military campaigns and manoeuvres on the Serbian borders to threaten Serbia. Archduke Franz Ferdinand then planned a visit to the military in the area to inspect them, and also a tour of their new province of Bosnia and this main city of Sarajevo to sort of show off maybe to the Serbians. And this is where the assassination took place. So Franz Ferdinand was driven around Sarajevo by car, but Black Hand agents tried to kill him, throwing a bomb at his car. But they failed to kill him. Franz Ferdinand's tour was cancelled and they headed away. Later on, Franz Ferdinand wanted to visit the injured people from the bombing in the hospital. On the way to the hospital, the driver though took a wrong turn and they had to turn around. But the car stopped in front of Gavrilo Princip, the Black Hand agent, and he shot dead Franz Ferdinand and his wife. So what was the impact of this? Well, of course, Austria-Hungary were extremely angry and demanded that Serbia allow Austrian police into Serbia to arrest the murderers and round up the Black Hand agents. Of course, Serbia, with the support of Russia, refused to do this. This was a break of their integrity and their political freedom. So Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia on the 28th of July 1914. Russia mobilised its army to defend Serbia, and the alliance system started to unravel when we get the First World War beginning. Here's a little timeline of some of the key events. 1st of August, Russia declares war on Austria-Hungary. Then the 1st of August, Germany responds under the alliance system and declares war on Russia and mobilises its army. Germany, knowing it's surrounded, declares war on France on the 3rd of August and invades France through Belgium using their Schlieffen Plan. More on that in other videos. And on the 4th of August, Germany ignores the British demand to leave Belgium, and they keep on invading through Belgium. Remember, Britain has an alliance with Belgium, so Britain declares war on Germany. And the 5th of August, France declares war on Germany, also as, of course, Germany is starting to invade their land. Now, the First World War has begun. Okay, well, if you found that useful, have a look through it a few more times, revise your knowledge, and then have a look at my revision guide and practice your skills. You'll find questions there on the cause of the First World War to practice your skills for your exam. The videos tutor you through how to answer questions to a top grade. Also, you'll find lots of other videos in there, revision notes, and loads of other videos on other topics to help tutor you through to success in your exam. If you don't want to get the revision guide, then do subscribe and have a look at my playlist. There's loads of free help there as well. Well, bye-bye for now.